Alright guys, this is going to be another segment of this Pathfinder build. So what I've got is I'm trying to get this motor ready to put in the frame, and I'll show you what I've learned. If I can get my scope. There we go. Alright, so this is a 96-97 mass airflow sensor and it is bad. This is a 95 and it will not work because the bolts positions are different. I didn't really realize that. I probably should have, but what I really didn't realize, that I had no clue of, was that the power steering pumps are different and the brackets are different. So I have went to my 97 parts truck and found another power steering pump. I've got it painted up for the most part. I still got to paint the front of that pulley. It's ready to go on. I've spent all day chasing parts. Didn't get anything done on my day off. I'm off tomorrow, but looks like we might be out of power tomorrow. I found that piece of crap, and then I was able to find this on a parts truck, or parts motor, that is. And I'm gonna get this off the engine stand. And I'm gonna get that on, and then get this new clutch on this video. Unless I lose power, I'll be doing this tomorrow on my day off. So what I'll do is explain this. So these larger bolts go into this 95 and older pump, and the larger bolts will fit through these larger diameter holes, and everything will bolt together smoothly. So on this one, these require a smaller bolt. I've got a mixture of bolts here that I don't even know where the bolts go anymore. I've had these off and on today, I don't know, 4 or 5 times. So this, I'm not sure without looking at my parts truck. I'm gonna scratch my new paint up if I'm not careful here showing you. But this bracket does not attach to this, and I'm not sure even if the 95 has this at this point. I don't know. I'll have to go back and look, or I can even look back on my last video that I had, because I was all over the front of this engine while it was out in the woods. We have freezing rain right now. I'm not going to the woods, and probably won't be for several days. So this is going, these two, and my 2 bolts that I will have left over, not 3, because I'm going to use the 3rd one for the top right here, I think. And I'm gonna have to go through my bolts bin and find a couple more bolts, I believe. This is pretty much ready to go. Just got to find another couple bolts. So I have, whenever I found this, it had the bolts in it for my clutch, so I'm good to go on that. And whenever I got this off of my motor, I had to remove these bolts, so I have that. I'm building this motor out of basically scrap. It will be new, but basically new. I mean, that looks fine. I could have that resurfaced, but I mean, it's thick metal. It ain't really gonna warp. So my new clutch is an XC clutch, and I have got pressure plate and clutch, and I don't want to touch this very much because I'll get my oils all over it, and I really don't want to drive in ice tomorrow to get some cleaner. So there's my bearing. There's that bearing. I'm hoping that I don't have to take the old one out. I'm going to check that and see if it's good. I'm going to show you how I'm going to check that. I have a spare gear right here that I can use, so, and see if it is wore out. And I am cleaning on, I'll take you to my bathroom back here. Had to hide my golf cart, and the Corvette is still throwing me a fit. So now the starter won't even engage. Turned out it didn't have fuel pressure, so I changed out the fuel pump and I changed out the fuel filter. My God, that was a nightmare. And now the starter quit engaging, so I think it's a theft device at this point, so I'm trying to reset it. So I'm going to clean these. I got the starter and my shift fork and all that in here, and so I'm going to clean these in here in my shower. And my towel keeps popping loose. Everything is pissing me off lately. So, I don't know. Just living the dream, right? So, let's see. Flip that back off. My transmission. So, I've got a 96, 97 transmission. And the sensor looks okay. I don't have a cover for that. I'll see if I can locate a cover. Surely I've got one in my parts somewhere. It's just going to take me hours of searching. I'll clean this up, get all the dirt daubers crap off. My parts truck behind my shop here has a shifter. I do have a shifter over here, but it's missing the plastic on the end, and it's also missing the snap ring. So awesome. And I really thought I had more stuff in my shop, but I have spent hours in here today looking around and can't find anything. So I do have a drive shaft. I found that. Of course, my carry bearing is trash. It'll get swapped, but I can at least get my alignment for that, get everything fitted, and I can see if this needs to be notched. It's a good chance it will, which is fine. But then got my cross member, and I can modify this how I need to, and we'll go through that. So I'm probably not going to do much tonight. I'm clean and kind of ticked off, so might lose power. I had to rebuild my generator. I just rebuilt it, the carburetor, like a month ago, and the carburetor was already trashed. And after digging all day for parts, I'm not in the mood. So anyway, it'll be like a blink of an eye for you whenever I turn this back on. Anyway, so I'll hit you back up in a little bit. So this is your throwout bearing. It'll spin onto your clutch pressure plate as you press the clutch in. I'm going to swap my bearing out. So I'm going to set it in my vise loosely, and then I'm going to see if I can tap this out. I might have to smash the bearing in there. It might get to where it might wobble if I hammer on that, but I'm going to try to tap that out. See if I can. I don't have a press or anything like that, so I'm just going to see if I can tap that out. And then the new one is right here. I can probably press it on with the vise, so we'll see what we can do with that. Yep, that came off really easy. Wasn't anything to it. So I'm going to see if I can squish this back on there in the vise like that. I've got it all lined up. It does not feel like it's going on correctly. It is not. I don't have it centered, so I'm going to have to center that a little bit better. It's gonna break something, so I need 2 hands. So I just put it on my table and I'm just tapping it on each side. It's almost on there. It looks pretty good. Alright, so now it should be ready to go. Alright, so the first thing you want to look at whenever changing your clutch is your pilot bushing. So this is your pilot bushing. This is what comes out of your transmission, and this will stab into the pilot bushing when you stab your transmission, and it just rides on that. This is a wear item. I'm not sure, maybe brass is what that's made out of, but that is a wear item. So I don't like changing these. This is the crank, so it's kind of a booger to get out, but this does have play, and I don't like that. This is the new one. I can put it on here, and it has play, but nowhere near what that does. Maybe a third the amount of play that does, just by feel. Of course, you know, without it being in there and looking all the way back out here, I'm not going to be able to tell exactly, but it feels like it's probably way less play than that. I don't like that, so I'm going to have to figure out how to get that out. I don't have a puller for this. I generally rent the puller from AutoZone or Advanced Auto. I really don't want to drive to town today because of the ice. They actually might not even be open here in Arkansas. We shut schools down for things when other places further north would laugh and whatever. So I've seen people put grease in there and hammer this in, and the grease pushes that out. I really don't think that's gonna work, but I can try it. The puller is like a little thing that goes in, and it's got teeth that come out, and then it's got a little handle. I believe I've only used it a couple times. It's got a little handle that you turn, and it makes the little fingers come out, and then the teeth grab, and then it's like a slide hammer, I believe, unless I'm mistaken, and it will pull it right out. And it worked really well, but I don't like renting tools, so I'm gonna probably give this grease trick a try. And I don't really want to hammer on this gear, but I probably will. I'll probably never gonna use that gear anyway, so it's brand new, but I'll probably give that a try, and I will update you. Okay, that's pretty amazing. That worked within like 5 hits, and I actually used this rod that I used for the lower control arm build. That actually ended up being the exact same diameter as that. So I just filled that full of grease and put the rod in there and hit it with the Ooga Ooga hammer, and about 5 times, and it came right out. Pretty awesome. So easy stuff. All right, I wanted to make sure that I tapped this back in straight, so I went ahead and used this gear, and I just tapped that, and it went in, and I know it's in straight, and I feel my end play is, maybe it's not really much better than it was. It's probably not much better at all, really. So if it's in all the way, I probably got half of what I had before. So anyway, it's replaced, it's new. So we're ready to move on. So now we're gonna put our flywheel on. So you gotta torque these to 80 foot-pounds without spinning the motor. You have to try to find something to hold without damaging the teeth here. So I just put that right there and held pressure. It doesn't take a whole lot. So I just pulled that direction, and put my torque wrench here and was able to torque all of those down. And so now I'm ready to put the clutch in, and we will use a clutch alignment tool. Here is that. And we will have to stack all of this together. I'll get it all ready and then I'll show you. Alright, so you're going to take your alignment tool and put it in the splines on your clutch disc, and then you can mate it in here and then fit it up on there just like that, and then take your pressure plate and find all of your tabs. And hopefully I can do this here while I video, but it goes on like so. And you have to make sure they all line up all the way around. Mine are not lining up, so I'm gonna have to spin this guy until I can figure out exactly which holes go where. So I'll just turn this around, rotate it. Alright, I'm gonna have to have two hands, so. Alright, so it fit on all of the little pegs, and now I'm ready for some bolts. And when you bolt this down, you'll have to go really slow, turn each one just a little bit, and then go to the next and turn it just a little bit, and keep doing that. So I'll just get them all kind of in there and started. That one, the washer is, there we go. I'll put you on pause. Alright, so I'm just going to go around and tighten all of these up just a little bit. Once I get all of these snug, then I can start my torque sequence. It's going to take me several minutes to do this. Alright, so they're calling it a clutch cover, a pressure plate. So they're wanting us to torque that to 22 foot-pounds. And in this order, alright, we're going to torque these down in the order that the book showed. And what we're going to do is go ahead and make sure that this goes in and out freely, so that we know that everything is in line properly and we're good to go. So we'll torque that down, and then we will look at fitting the transmission. So here is the transmission that I've picked out to use. It was in the back of one of my trucks out here, and I know nothing about this transmission, but I put a shifter in and it felt like all of the gears held. Sometimes there's like a detent ball that will get stuck and it will slip out of gear, so this one did not do that. So at least I know that part of this is good, but I don't know what this is. I need to probably look at that. I don't know what's going on with that. Looks like a sensor's broke off. And that sensor looks like it's broke. and there's a hole right here. I'm missing my rubber right here. I'm not going to paint this just yet. I will go ahead and get this fitted to the motor, and I will fit the this arm and everything. I'll show you how that goes. Slide it over here. So this arm, this will fit over that ball. So you have to slide it on this side, and then it will clip on to that ball. Alright, but you're going to want it onto this as well. That will go toward the pressure plate, so we know it needs to go on this direction. This needs to slide really well, and it's not going to. I'm going to have to clean that up. I can do that off camera. It's not terrible. This needs to slide really well. It's getting better. Just work it a little bit. And your transmission clutch kit should have came with some oil. It's probably what that's for. So we can stick that on there. I'm just going to wipe this down. I'll probably use some of that degreaser. That's what I've been using for all of my cleanup. Wax and grease remover, but it gets grime and dirt and everything off. I'll go around the inside of this to get nasty grease off and that, and then I'll just use that, stick it on there, and then I'll show you how to mate these two together, because it's been a few years since I've done it, so I'll have to relearn a little bit. It'll be pretty quick probably. Alright, I'll catch you back on in a second. Oh yeah, that slides real nice now. So all we got to do is get it fitted to the fork here. Figure out, let's see, that goes that direction. And I wonder if we can just assemble this out and then slide it in. We'll look at it in the floor here. So it probably fits with, I have to get my tripod thingy. Maybe it goes the other way. Maybe it goes this way. Hold on, I'm gonna pause you. Yeah, it went that way. So it goes like that. And then it can pivot. So that's not gonna be always sitting flush. That's gonna have to pivot. It's going to have to move like this as the clutch works. So that enables you to do that. So now all we got to do is put this on there, stick that ball in there. So first we got to get it over that shaft and work this down in that hole at the same time. Alright, I'm going to cut you off for a second. That was actually really easy. So once I got it on there, I could not get this on the ball, so I went ahead and took my hammer and I just tapped it like that right there, and it fitted. Golly, that's loud. It fitted itself right on there, so it's good to go. So whenever I'm going to push this back and forth and let you see how easy that flows. That's exactly what we're looking for right there. Perfect. So that's good to go. Now I can fit the transmission and look for all the little things that I'm missing. Little cover for this and whatever the heck goes in that hole. That might actually be a drain hole. That doesn't really look like a drain hole though. I'm gonna get to looking. I've got another transmission. We'll go into my parts. I've got a shipping container back here. It's got another transmission. I'll take you back there and we'll look and make note of what these other items are that are broke and missing. But first we're gonna go ahead and stab this. I need my adapter piece that I've left over here. There's a drive shaft that I found. I may have already mentioned that on here. But so I need this adapter piece. We've got the starter hole. Starter is on the driver's side, passenger side. Starter's on the passenger side. This should have went on. Don't be like me, because it appears I have to remove my clutch and put on that bracket right there. So I get to do all of this all over again. Sweet. Alright, I'll cut you back on after I remove the clutch and the flywheel and put the flywheel and the clutch back on with this bracket installed. Alright, dust shield first, guys. Dust shield first. Then you can mount your flywheel and your clutch. So, dust shield. Alright, cut you back on in a minute. Alright, now we are ready to fit the transmission. Slide that guy right up on there, and we will mate that shaft into there and do some little wiggle, and then we will try to get that and that one mated into the transmission where they go. Just wiggle until it's on there. I'll pause you for that. Alright, I've got my starter over here ready to go on, and I've got the transmission put on for the most part. It's ready to go. I'm missing a few bolts. Missing one down here, maybe two. I could put another one there. There's one on the very bottom I could put on if I wanted to. These are the bolts for this Dumafligi. We'll call it that because I can't remember the name of it. So I've got bolts on my transmission already. Somebody did me a good job right there. So I will put this on. Make sure to not over tighten any of this. This is aluminum. If you were to strip this out, it would be a nightmare. Somebody has cut off the line, which I'll have to order a new line, but not a big deal. So there is a little indention that this will sit in, and then all you do is bolt that back in place right there, and that will be where you need it. And then I can put the starter in. It's pretty self-explanatory. You stick it in its hole and put the bolts in. Not a big deal there. That was one that was in my parts, and I cleaned it up. It looks fairly nice, really. So hopefully it will work good. I'm gonna get to putting this on, and then we will locate some of this stuff here. Alright, so this is the 95 or older transmission because there is no sensor on top. So what I'm concerned with is the wiring harness being different. I do have that sensor, it looks good. I'm wondering if the harness is the same. That sensor is bad. That's where the hole is, so that somebody's unscrewed that out of the other one that I've got in there that I'm going to try to use. But that one's not any good. And my rubber right here is ripped. That's where the fork sticks through. So I've got some work to do there. And this sensor appears to bolt in. Where am I at? Right there. There we go. This sensor appears to bolt in, and that's probably speedometer. So I'm going to see if I can try to figure out how to remove that out of the other transmission. And that one's plug is also, I'm wondering if it will interchange. Let's go out here, I'll show you. Flip the light off in here. My other parts truck is out here. It has a transmission in it, so I might just hold off on these sensors. It should have everything that I need. There's one of them. Yes, it's probably gonna be really nice. I'm removing the harness out of this one anyway to fit in my Pathfinder. So this is the donor for my harness. This is a 97 model. So I'm gonna have to weed through it, but it's gonna be fun trying to mate together a truck harness and a Pathfinder harness and get it to work. This is an air ride trailer that I built. It wears these tires out something fierce. That is a leading arm, and it goes into a toe while traveling forward, and it just eats tires up. So I don't use it. It's a good idea. But that's another day. So what we will do, more projects. So we will start trying to fit the motor and transmission in that, on that frame. I'm going to close this door. I need 2 hands to do that. And I'll make some cross members and stuff here in just a minute. Alright, my phone says it's about dead, but I'm going to try to go ahead and shoot this last video to finish this up. I was in here working and taking videos, and I've gotten way behind on editing this and realized that this video is going to be super long, so I'm going to cut it in half. I do have this rubber dust shield to go here. This one that I'm missing appears to be the reverse switch, make the reverse lights come on. This appears to be the neutral safety switch, and on this side we already learned that this was the speedometer down here. So I'm going to pull it out, clean this thread up, retap that hole, and get that where I can put that sensor in there. I'm going to go ahead and clean this transmission up and paint it. I was able to find that, and I got all the bolts, so it's bolted in to the engine with everything that it needs. And on the next video, I'll show you how I build a cross member here for the carrier bearing. I built this rear drive shaft, and still got quite a bit more cleaning. I'm still trying to get the e-brake fitted right now, and I went ahead and got front shocks put in. So I'll show you how I do all of that. It's pretty much already videoed. I just have to get it edited. So subscribe, like, whatever. All right, talk to you later.